Hey, this is Minus coding. Forgot it already, huh? Yeah. At the moment, we are at the step where we are going to learn more about the Microsoft Authentication Library after exploring the Microsoft Identity Platform. We talked about the service principals, app registrations, multi-tenant, single-tenant stuff, and now we are going to investigate this. Let's learn more about it. What is it? What is not? Let's start by reading. The Microsoft Authentication Library enables developers to acquire security tokens from library identity platform. We'll learn about it. Authentication to authenticate users, access security web APIs. It can be used to provide secure access to graph or other APIs, third-party APIs, or own web API. MSAL supports many different application architectures and platforms, including .NET, JavaScript, Java, Python, iOS, Android. MSAL gives you many ways to get tokens with a consistent API for many platforms. No need to directly use the auth libraries or codes against the protocol in your application. Acquires token on behalf of a user on behalf of an application. Maintains token cache, refreshes for you when you are close to expire. You don't need to handle it. Helps you specify which audience you want your application to sign in. Audience, huh? Helps you set up your application from configuration files. Helps you troubleshoot your application by exposing actionable exceptions, logging, telemetry. A token can be acquired from many application types: web application, web API, single app, mobile native. The daemon server-side MSAL currently supports the platforms and frameworks listed in the following table: Android, Angular, iOS, macOS, MASL, Go. Okay. Java, JavaScript, .NET, Node, Python, React. Authentication flows. The following table shows some of the different authentication flows provided by Microsoft Auth Library. These flows can be used in various application scenarios. Okay, these are the flows, so not a short list. Authentication code. Users sign in and access to web APIs on behalf of the user. Desktop, mobile, single app requires PKCE web Microsoft code. Very good. This is I think the best for single web APIs on behalf. Yeah, this is the latest one. The client credentials, the server side, right? Daemon, yes. Application typically used server-server communication. Device code. This is more IoT. No. Desktop, mobile. User sign in and access to web API on behalf of user on input constraint devices like smart TV, IoT devices. Yes, IoT devices. Also used by command line applications. implicit grant. Users sign in and access to web APIs on behalf of the user. The implicit grant flow is no longer recommended. The implicit grant flow is normal. Use authorization code with PKCE instant. This one. Use this one, huh? This is version 1. And by version 2 and 3, you don't need this. I'm not fully experienced, or you got it. On behalf of access from an upstream web API to a downstream web API. On behalf of the user's identity and the delegated permissions are passed through to the downstream API from the upstream API. I think this is again the communication between two APIs. It is using the same token it's the same token got from front end, like HTML page or somewhere. The first API gets the token from front end, from cookie, from header, then uses the same API. This is my opinion. If you don't believe it, you can investigate. The user's identity and delegate permissions are passed through the downstream API, and then this API calls another API passing the same token. This is my gathering, or this is my conclusion, or user password, ROPC, allows an application to sign in the user by directly handling their password. Not recommended. It's not recommended for a user. Sometimes we use this with for backend authentication. Client credentials. You see, this is the backend client credentials. The client indicates a service principal or application application registration, or indicated Windows Authentication allows applications on daemon. Allow applications on domain or Microsoft Entra joint computers. Allows applications on domain or Microsoft Entra joint computers. Allows applications on domain. Integrated Windows Authentication. Okay. Allows applications on domain or Microsoft Entra joint computers to acquire a token silently without any UI interaction from the user. Okay. This is a hidden process, I believe. Then allows applications on domain or intra-joint computers to acquire a token silently. That the managed identity thingy. You don't need to worry about it. Azure do it for you. Integrated, you see, integrated. Public client and confidential client applications. Public and private applications. The Microsoft Authentication Library defines two types of clients: public, confidential. Public is a software entity. A client is a software entity that has a unique identifier assigned by an identity provider. The client types differ based their ability to authenticate securely with the authorization server and to hold sensitive identity proving information so that it can be accessed or known to a user within scope of its access. 1. Examining the public or confidential nature of a given client. We are evaluating the ability of that client to prove its identity to the authorization server. This is important because the authorization server must be able to trust the identity of the client in order to issue access tokens. Public client applications run on devices such as desktop, Rhodes API, mobile client, site browser apps. They cannot be trusted to safely keep application secrets, so they can only access web APIs on behalf of the user. Anytime the source or compiles bytecode of a given app is transmitted anywhere, it can be read, disassembled, or otherwise inspected by untrusted parties, as they also only support public client flows and cannot hold configuration time secrets. They cannot have client secrets. Okay. Confidential client applications run on servers such as web apps, web APIs, service daemons. They are considered difficult to access by users or attackers and therefore can adequately hold configuration time secrets to assert proof of its identity. The client ID is exposed through the web browser, but the secret is passed only in the back channel and never directly exposed. Okay. Let's ask ChatGPT to summarize this. You know that I'm taking some notes. You should also do that. Authentication library. Exactly. Key benefits: simplifies token acquisitions without workload handling, supports user-based, app-based, automatically handles token caching, blah blah. Supported frameworks and platforms. This can be noted. Authentication flows can be noted. Client types for the client credentials, probably, huh? No, not this. Is for this type of clients, and this is for this type of clients. I think we don't need this. No. Let's continue. Yes. Initialize client applications. With MSAL.NET, the recommended way to instantiate an application is by using application builders. Public client application builder, confidential client application builder. They offer a powerful mechanism to configure the application either from code or from configuration file, or even a mixed approach. Before initializing an application, you first need to register it so that your application can be integrated with your identity. After registration, you might need the following information: app identity, client tenant ID, yes, the identity provider URL, and the sign-in audience for your application. These two parameters are collectively known as authority. URL and sign-in audience for your application. I want to know more about this one. Sign-in audience. The sign-in audience defines who can sign into your application. In other words, which users your app is intended to support. When registering an app, specify audience under the supported account types. This setting controls where tokens can come from and which users can authenticate. Sorry, I made it a bit bigger. Common sign-in audience options. Single tenant. Accounts in the organization directory. Accounts in any organizational directory. Accounts in any organization directory and personal Microsoft accounts. Yes, personal Microsoft accounts only. This is the audience, huh? Audience options. Okay. Affects what kind of tokens will require them for which tenants. Common organizations, customers, tenant ID or tenant name, only accounts in a specific tenant. Okay, consumers, personal, organizations, common. Examples of authorities. Consumers and then your tenants. This is important. Why the authority matters. It tells MSAL where to request tokens. Okay, it ensures users are authenticated from the right audience. It helps MSAL validate tokens and discover metadata for the authentication. Okay, I got it. The client credentials, which can take form of an application secret or certificate for web apps, and sometimes for public client apps. You need to set your redirect URI where the identity provider sent the security token back. Exactly. Initializing public and confidential client applications from code. Initializing public. Okay. The following code instantiates a public client, signing users Microsoft public cloud with their work oracles. This is the public client, public cloud with their work or school or personal. In the same way, the following code instantiates in. Let's learn how to read this correctly.
Instantiates.
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 Instantiates. Instantiates. Where is she? Where is she, man? Handling tokens from users in the Microsoft Azure public cloud with their work and blah blah blah. In the same way, the following code instantiates a confidential application, a web app located at blah blah, handling tokens from users in the Azure public cloud with their work and school accounts or their personal account. The application is identified with the identity provider by sharing a client screen. Confidential client application. Create client ID. Yeah, you give client ID. Also, you give client ID here, and then build. And then build with additional parameters, secrets. And redirect the URI. Public client. Modifiers. Let's go back. I think I missed something. Public and confidential applications. Confidential public clients run on devices such as desktop, browsers, API, mobile, client-side browser apps. They cannot be trusted. yes, they cannot be trusted, and so that they don't have client secret, right? Then they are just being instantiated. But then the flow require users to log in and do stuff. Yeah. In the code snippets using application builders, that with method can be applied as a modifier, for example, with authority, with redirect URI. Authority modifier sets the application default authority to a Microsoft Entra authority with the possibility of choosing the Azure Cloud, the audience, the tenant, or providing directly the authority URI. Azure public and then tenant. There's no authority here. What is authority for, man? It sets the audience then with authority. Is there a default authority? Yes, default authority is you don't explicitly set one using the default authority behaves. Common. Single tenant behavior, then your tenant ID, work or school authentication, then organizations, only personal Microsoft accounts. No authority provided, then it uses common. Very good, very good. We are learning good. Authority, very good. I like this one, then I will take this one. Public one, huh? Okay, redirect URI. This is a public client. Let me take this note. This is a public client. You cannot trust the client to store confidential information or store password. Okay, and confidential client, you can trust that app to store password, secret, whatever. Then we can get this one as a example. Very good, very nice. Modifiers, common to public confidential client applications. Common authority with tenant ID, client ID, yes, redirect with component. Debug logging callback, okay, with logging telemetry, yeah, makes sense. Specific to confidential client applications. The modifiers specified to confidential client application builder can be found in the blah blah class. Modifiers such as with certificate and with client secret, makes sense. Let's go to the exercise. Okay, let's see what kind of exercise is this before you start and launch exercise. Register a new application. Do we need to do is with the portal? I was using a terminal for it. I think then the command should be AZ space I don't remember. Let's ask ChatGPT then. Give me command to create an app in Azure Entra. AD, yes, AD. It means Active Directory. Azure Active Directory, application, create, then display name. It's very simple, huh? AD app creates, display name, sign in audience, or personal blah blah blah, identifier, URIs, reply, URIs available to other tenants. Microsoft Identity Client. Why is this always .NET, man? Configure the console application. In this section, you create and edit the environment file. Yes, client ID, secret code, yes, identity client, Microsoft Identity, .nf.net. Public client application builder, create with authority, default redirect. Okay. Run the application. If there is an exception happens, then it goes to interactive login. Module test. Which of the following MSAL libraries supports single page web apps? This guy. What is the purpose of using public client application builder? Enables, adds a new API permission to the registered, enables the automation and validation of the creation and teardown of environments to help deliver secure and stable application hosting platforms. What? Enables the automation and validation of the creation and teardown of environments to help deliver secure and stable application hosting platforms. Creates a new Azure account. Azure account. Adds a new API permission to the registered app. No, it's for logging, man. New API permission. Does it? New API permission to the registered app. To help deliver secure and stable application hosting platforms. Secure and stable. Stable? I can understand secure. Stable application hosting platforms. Automation and validation. No, it's not that. It is that. Yeah, of course it doesn't add the permission, but the second option is very confusing. It's a new API permission to the registered app. Okay, it doesn't add permission. I agree. But what is the second option, man? Enables automation and validation of creation and teardown of environments. What environments? Which environments? To help deliver secure and stable application hosting. it's about application, not application hosting platform. This is very confusing to me. Yeah, that's it. What we did, learned how to explain the benefits of the MSAL. Yeah. Application types, public, private, scenarios it supports. Yeah, the flows, instantiate both public and confidential. Exactly. Register an app with it. Create an app, retrieves token. I think with it. Okay, now we are gonna go to the next topic. In the next video.